Hello and welcome to McCormick.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency,
Huskies and the Shanley Deacons. I'm Braden Altringer, alongside my partner Andy Simon. We will break this game down for you and actually get into the action itself after a message from our Deacon partners.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Beyond Boundaries Therapy Services, Butler Machinery, Ed's Marine, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Hurley's Religious Goods, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Network Center, Northern Improvement, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford, Shields, Taxman, TCI Insurance, and Wolf Steel Construction.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. Again, I'm Braden Altringer, joined alongside my partner Andy Simon, and it's going to be the Wahpeton Huskies against the Shanley Deacons, with two teams that are in the middle of the pack in EDC, as Shanley comes in 4 and 5 in EDC play, and Wahpeton 4 and 6 in EDC play, with Wahpeton winning 4 out of their last 5 games. We definitely have a good matchup on hand for ourselves tonight. Andy, who are your kind of players to watch for each team before we get underway?
For Wahpeton's side, I'd say Corbin Cornelius. He's a top 10 player in the EDC in both categories of assists and rebounds. And I've harped on this many times this season. Rebounds are a big part of this game, and they really help win games. And as for Shanley, I would say Braden Dakota. Once again, he was my player of the game last game, and he really showed out, and he proved me right. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had another big night tonight.
Absolutely, Andy. As we're just a few minutes as they're finishing starting lineups, getting both teams introduced here to the fans in McCormick Gymnasium. So before we get underway, we do have some starting lineups for you for Wahpeton. They're going to start with Tollefson, Desiree, Cornelius, Cavani, that's going to be Bartles, and Matchek. On the other hand, Deacons will match up against the Huskies, going with Quincy Smith, Hoffer, DeKaiser, Shrema, and Bath. Well, it's going to be a very interesting game for Wahpeton on how they're going to guard the two big guys in Shanley with Bath and Shrema. How do you see them matching up?
I mean, Wahpeton, they have a couple players who have a good amount of height. I believe they have 2 6'5" players, a couple 6'4" players, and even some 6'3" players. So I think they'll do just fine tonight in that category because, like I just said, they got height, and I think they have the ability to play, and they'll be able to match up well against the two tall guys for Shanley.
Absolutely. Both teams very athletic, can run the floor. So we'll have to see if there's going to be a quick back-and-forth game like we've seen in the past few games for Shanley, or it's going to be a slower possession game. And we're just about to find out as tip is about to occur. So it's going to be Shrema and Matacek jumping for the tip, and it's going to be the Huskies of Wahpeton who wins the opening jump ball. It's going to be Desiree, swings over to Tollefson in front of the Shanley bench. Back to Desiree. Deacons playing their one-on-one defense. Looking down low, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Hoffer off of Tollefson. So it is going to be a turnover and give it back to the Deacons. Quincy Smith, now bringing the ball up the floor. Passes it over to Hoffer, looks for Bath down low, but gets it stolen and tipped by Cornelius to Tollefson.
With both teams having 1 turnover so far in this game, that'll be interesting to see if that's a trend that'll continue, as for Shanley at least, the last couple of games, turnovers have played a big role in this game, especially with the energy and how the team overall is playing.
And your player to watch, showing why he's your player to watch early as he knocks down the 3 for the Huskies in Corbin Cornelius. DeKaiser driving baseline, little opening, flicks it out to an open Hoffer, open 3-point attempt, and he has one of his own. We got a 3-3 ball game, just a few minutes into tonight's matchup.
Talon Hoffer, kind of like Braden Kaiser, is one of those players who, when he gets going, especially early, he'll really get going for the rest of the game. And he's kind of struggled so far this year, especially outside the arc, but it's nice to see that early three-pointer, and hopefully that trend can continue this game.
Tollefson guarded by Hoffer, barely finds Desiree over in the corner, who drives baseline, finds Bartles. just off the hands of Matacek after a nice dish from Bartles, which will be another turnover for Wahpeton, giving it back over to Shanley. You got to think if one team wants to win this game, they got to keep that turnover category low.
Absolutely. We've seen Shanley a couple times in the past few games, as I was kind of saying, with their trouble with turnovers. It's really shifted the momentum. I believe it was Grand Forks they were playing. There was a lot of momentum shifts, and I mean, both teams, they just went on huge runs when they were able to make turnovers and get the ball.
Open three-point for Bath. Actually, they're going to say that's a long two, and not often we've seen him shoot that. As earlier in the year he was shooting that, but it's kind of backed off of that now. So we see a long 2-point by Bath. Deacons bench trying to create some energy to get a stop as Smith guards Desiree, kicks it over to Cornelius. Right back up to the point guard Tollefson. DeKaiser with the steal. A couple of players for the Deacons, but it's going to be, looks like they're going to tie it up for a jump ball after a nice play by Desiree. So it's going to stay with the Deacons after the opening tip was won by the Huskies. So now checking in for the Huskies will be 12, Loosemore. You know, a very experienced team here for Wahpeton. How much of a role does that play in these games?
That's huge in games like these where there will be a lot of competition and you'll probably have to get down to the nitty-gritty. And having players who are very experienced and who will be able to lead the rest of the team, some of the younger players, it's a big part of competition, especially in the EDC basketball.
Absolutely. They only have 2 freshmen. The rest are juniors and sophomores. So a couple players are going to have to step up in the next couple years. The Huskies want to continue to be successful. They're going to say that went off of Desiree, so it will stay with the Deacons. It'll be DeKaiser throwing the ball in for the Deacons underneath their own hoop. DeKaiser up to Smith, sets up the offense. Over to Hoffer in front of the Wahpeton bench. Right back to DeKaiser up top. Quick pass. Passing, finds an open Smith. Just long, but the rebound comes to DeKaiser. Looks for an open lanes. Might have gotten away with the travel. Not sure if he kept that pivot, Steph. Nevertheless, nice move by DeKaiser. Hoffer guarding the newly checked in Loosemore. Almost stolen there by the Deacons. As Matacek comes away with the ball. Kicks it out to Bartles. Short 2-point, high off the glass and no good, as somehow that ball comes out to Loosemore. Interesting play there, as I'm not sure really who had the ball. All of a sudden it came out to Loosemore, who gets the open 2. Smith to Shrema, right on the 3-point line. Over to Hoffer. Nice move there on Loosemore. Open to Kaiser, 3 in the corner. Not able to get it to go, but the rebound comes down to Patrick Bath. Just throws it in to save it to Smith. Finds a cutting to Kaiser. And finds an open Bath for a 2-point. Very nice passing from the Deacons so far. Smith guarding Desiree. Desiree kicks it over to Cornelius. Into the corner to Loosemore. Up for Bartles. Open 3. Decides not to take it. Takes a dribble and drains the 2. Smith, handoff there to Hoffer. Nice quick move. Little shake and bake. Puts it long 2. Not able to get it to go as Desiree comes down with the board. What does Shanley need to do? They got off to a hot start, putting up 7 points in the first couple of minutes. What do they need to do to continue that start?
Well, one thing, no surprise here, I've harped on it a million times, energy. I mean, that's just a big part of the game. If you can really think that you can do something, you will do it. And another thing is rebounds. I mean, just giving yourself that extra shot, that extra opportunity to put points on the board, that's huge. And you don't want to kind of slip away in that category and let the other team get defensive rebounds. Yeah,
a lot of energy so far for the Deacons. Ben's trying to create some as well as the Deacon faithful. 2-point attempt by Bath is no good, with the rebound coming down to Wahpeton. Nice move by Desiree. Puts up the floater. Not able to get it to go, and the rebound comes down to DeKaiser. Next dead ball, we have a host of subs that will check into the game. Outlet pass to Loosemore. Gets the foul called and the basket. Will head to the line to convert the 3-point play. So that'll be the first personal on Talon Hoffer, as well as the first foul of the game. as we have a host of players for each team checking in. Looks like that's going to be Pollard and Kenny for the Deacons, as well as Timian and Hansen for Wahpeton. Loosemore to convert the three-point play is perfect. Extends the lead. Actually, I should say gives the lead to Wahpeton for the first time this evening. Looks like Wahpeton will play a 3-2 zone now as they have two big guys in down low in Timian and Matacek. Smith finds an open Shrema. Nice pass down to Pollard, but throws it right into a couple of Huskies players, and Huskies come away with the ball. Smith guarding Hansen up top. Hansen finds Cornelius. Up to Timian up top. Finds Loosemore. Takes an awkward two-point attempt, but gets his own rebound. Not able to get it to go as Matacek gets the foul called, which will send him to the line for 2 shots.
Going back to the rebounds once again, the Huskies, they've done a great job on both sides of the ball so far tonight, is getting those rebounds. I mean, every time Shanley misses the basket, it seems that Wahpeton player is always right there to get the ball in. As we see on the offensive side, they've been able to get the boards as well.
Yeah, another interesting stat to point out is not a surprise that Wahpeton's kind of winning the rebounding game so far, as Shanley's the worst in rebounding margin in the EDC, with Wahpeton being in the top 4. So Shanley wants to have a chance to win this game. They're definitely going to have to win that, which will increase their chance of winning. Smith guarded by Hansen. Hands off to Kenny. Kenny drives, finds an open Pollard, fakes the shot, and finds a Smith out on the three-point line. Nice move by Smith, but not able to convert as Wahpeton looks to push the pace. Cornelius with the three-point attempt and gets it to go again. Another three-point basket for Cornelius, your player to watch, as Coach Tony Paper for the Deacons wants a timeout. Well, Andy, we got a fast start from the Deacons and a great response for the Huskies. What were the Huskies able to do in the last couple minutes to get their lead out to 5?
Like I was saying, rebounding, I mean, they've been getting the ball on both sides, or getting boards on both sides of the ball. And, I mean, they've just been doing a great job of shooting. Corbin Cornelius with 2 threes so far tonight. And, I mean, they've just had a lot of players who've been able to get down low, get shots. And, I mean, that's all you really need to do to win the game.
Absolutely is. We did have a 30-second timeout there called by Shanley. So team's just about to break their huddles with a little over 11 minutes remaining in the first half. So it will be Deacons' ball on the near side here, as Pollard will throw it into Quincy Smith. And so the girls' matchup of Wahpeton and Shanley is actually occurring down in Wahpeton. So we will try to get some updates for you throughout the game if we are able to do so. Kenny into Pollard. Tipped pass. There's another turnover for Pollard as Wahpeton looks to extend their lead. And they will have a chance to do so as Loosemore is going to the line. So that's going to be on 14, Emmett Kenny. First personal, 3rd team foul. Pretty clean game so far. Not common we've seen broadcasting Shanley games, but it's always a good thing for a coach when your teams are not fouling a lot. Jackson Lyer checking into the game for the Deacons. Takes out Jack Pollard. Looks like Desiree is going to check back into the game for the Huskies. He's going to take out Hansen. Second attempt from Loosemore. He's just short, and Deacons secure the rebound. So 6-point lead with just about 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Lyer looking for Shrema down low. Gets it to Shrema, who just fumbles the ball right out of bounds. Didn't look like it was poked out by Matacek. Just fumbled the ball, couldn't quite keep control.
That's another thing I've kind of noticed for both teams here tonight is there's been a couple of moments where they've kind of slipped the ball around in their fingers and they haven't really been able to have full possession of it. And, I mean, that could be huge in especially the turnover game, as we've seen Shanley have a lot of tonight. That's just got to be something that they're going to have to work on and make better passes and be able to secure the ball better.
Right on, as we have a foul called on Kobe Timian of the Wahpeton. So that'll be their first team foul. just about 8 minutes into this game, which is pretty impressive, if I would say so myself. So it'll be Smith trying to beat this 3-2 zone of the Huskies. Tipped pass there as Wahpeton's a very lengthy team, not allowing many passing lanes for Shanley. Cornelius down to Matacek. Matacek finds an open Loosemore, takes another 2-point shot, not able to get it to go with the rebound coming down to Smith. Hoffer. Schrema in to Kenny, who drives. Nice bounce pass. Who gets the foul call. Looks like that was a late foul call, which will send Schrema to the line for 2 shots. You know, quite a fast-paced game now, about 8 minutes in. Were you expecting this with 2 teams that are lengthy and very athletic?
I was definitely expecting this. I mean, both teams with solid records. I mean, and they've both been known to have a lot of energy and be able to come out really fast in games, especially Shanley. I mean, I'm not surprised at all with so far how this game is starting. Both teams kind of going really at it and getting down to the nitty-gritty.
So the first attempt from Schrema rattles in. Second attempt to convert the pair. Up and no good as it rattles in and out. So it'll be Desiree guarded by Smith. As at the next dead ball, Patrick Bath of the Deacons will check in. Bartles, they're going to leave him open. That's going to be a second long 2-point attempt from Bartles that's able to go. You got to think the Deacons might start guarding him out there as they're giving him a lot of room. Hoffer working on Cornelius. Smith decides not to take it. Drive to the hoop and gets the 2-point basket to go. Nice play there by Quincy Smith.
Excellent job of weaving his way through the defense and going up for that nice little layup.
Deacons bench trying to create some energy. Encourage their team to get a stop and maybe a basket. Cut into this lead a little bit more. Cornelius open 3-point attempt in the corner. Not able to get it to go with the rebound to Kenny, who wants to push the pace for Shanley. Smith again decides not to take the 3-point attempt as Hoffer will back out and set up the offense for Shanley. This time Smith will take the 3-point attempt. It's going to miss everything. Maybe just caught a little bit of rim on the backside. But Wahpeton with the ball now with just under 9 minutes to play from McCormick Gymnasium. Kenny now guarding Bartles a little bit closer as he has made 2 shots. Cornelius inside to Timian. Nice bounce pass there, and able to get it to go is Bartles underneath. What a play there by Wahpeton. You know, that's something, if you are a young player, you dream of having those nice fancy plays. Maybe on Sports Center Top 10 yourself. You ever wanted to be on Sports Center Top 10?
I mean, what kid doesn't want to be on Sports Center Top 10? Maybe not in the basketball category, but I think everyone's really dreamed of doing that.
Maybe football
really.
Or something like that, baseball, something fun. As we have a host of Deacons checking in, as well as for Wahpeton, they have, looks like that's going to be Hansen checking back into the game. So it'll be Mears for Shanley checking into the game for the first time this evening. Another senior leader that Shanley's been able to play off the bench. Bath not able to get the turnaround shot to go, as the Huskies will try to extend their lead past 7. Nice steal there by Mears as he is one of their defensive specialists. Just able to get it to go as he looked like he had a little too much speed, but's able to rattle it in. You know, how important is it to, I'm pretty sure every team has one of those guys that they can bring off the bench, brings in a lot of energy. How important is it to have one of those guys like Shanley does in Owen Mears?
It's huge. I mean, I've said it a million times. I harp on it every game. Energy is a huge part of not just basketball, but in every sport in general. And to have a player who can come out and make explosive plays like that, that is just huge for a team, especially one right now that's really behind and kind of struggling.
Another turnover there by Wahpeton as Lyer pushes the pace for Shanley. Gets the foul called, does not make it, which will send him to the line for 2 free throw attempts. That foul is going to be called on number 2 of Wahpeton, Tollefson. Only the 3rd team foul on the Huskies. First of 2 from Lyer, up and perfect. to complete the pair for Lyer. Second attempt is up and perfect as well. Cuts the deficit to Shanley for 3 points. So it looks like we do have a stoppage for a sub, which will bring Matichik of Wahpeton back into the game.
It's nice to see Shanley kind of starting out this game being pretty proficient in the free throw category. That's something that they've struggled with a lot, not just this year, but in years past. And that's a big part of the game, especially only being down 3. You got to get every little point you can get.
Yeah, especially if you're Tony Paper. You got to be happy when your team is making free throws because there's a really good chance that you're going to win with how well they've played. Just not able to convert on those free throws in previous years. And as we do have a second, we would like to remind you, don't forget that you can connect with Shanley TV on social media. Get the latest updates about Shanley sports teams, plus reminders about upcoming broadcasts. Like our Facebook page today at facebook.com/ShanleyTV, or follow us on Twitter, also at Shanley TV. So just about 7 minutes, a little over 7 minutes remaining in the first half, as Wahpeton leads Shanley by 3 points after the turnover, called a double dribble just before the timeout. So it will be Shanley ball on the near side. Hoffer throwing the ball into Lyer as Wahpeton keeps switching back between their man-to-man and their 3-2 zone. How big of an advantage does it give a team when they can switch from defense to defense just like that on different possessions? Got to keep the offensive team on their toes.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of the game because, I mean, with a good offense like Shanley, they do a good job of kind of responding to defenses and changing things up a little. So when your defense is able to respond to that response, it's big and it really helps. And it's shown so far tonight as Wahpeton's done a great job on defense.
Nice two-point basket there by Hoffer has Wahpeton's coach Jeff Ralph questioning what else can they do to stop Hoffer. Open three-point attempt for Tollefson. Not good as it hits the back of the board. But again, one of the leading rebounders on Wahpeton, and Cornelius gets the board. Not able to get it to go is Tollefson. They're going to have a foul call on the play. Not sure who they're going to call that on, as it was a late whistle. Coach Paper of Shanley questioning the call. It looks like it's going to be on Shanley, but not on the shot. Interesting call there, as I didn't really see anything. Did you see anything, Andy?
I didn't really see anything there, but, I mean, what are you going to do? The ref's call will stand.
Yep, what the refs say, that's how it's going to go as the rebound comes down to Bath. Deacons trying to give the lead back for their team. Mears gives it to DeKaiser. Pump fake by DeKaiser. Back out to Mears in the corner. Swings their cross court to Lyer. Three-point attempt just short as it misses pretty much everything there. As that pass from Mears goes off the shoe of Bath. Cornelius up top over to Bartles. Matichek working on Bath. Puts up a left-handed floater and not able to get it to go. DeKaiser over to Hoffer. Lyer down to Bath. Nice move. Looks like they're going to call him for a travel as he didn't put the ball on the floor soon enough. I'm pretty sure that was the right call by the official. Cornelius bringing the ball up the floor for Wahpeton. And as we do have a little break as Wahpeton's passing around, we would like to thank Mrs. Miller, one of the teachers at Shanley, for continuing to watch the game and supporting us. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. So after the turnover, as Desiree kind of stumbled there, I think he just tripped over his own shoes, as I've done that quite a few times myself. It will be Deacons basketball. You know, that's one thing I always fear, is tripping over my own feet. Have you ever worried about that?
You know, I'm never really worried about it, but I do fall victim to that quite a bit.
Sometimes that line will get you maybe a little piece of dust as Wahpeton comes down with the board. Bartles in the corner, guarded by DeKaiser. Looks like Bartles and Desiree just weren't on the same page, as Desiree wanted to go baseline, but Bartles threw it near side into the Shanley bench. So just under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. What did Shanley do to get back into the game with Wahpeton going on a little bit of a run?
Well, what I saw Shanley do is they made a lot of defensive plays, as we kind of saw with Jackson Lyer and Owen Mears making those steals and just getting the ball down the court as quick as possible. they were kind of responding to Wahpeton and making a couple statements with plays like that, saying that we're not just going to roll over and let you guys win. We're going to stay in this and fight and try to make as many good plays as we can.
Yeah, it always seems to come back to energy as Lyer and Mears coming off the bench, getting a couple turnovers and then baskets for the Deacons. So it just shows energy can win you games sometimes, especially in the postseason or later in the season when the games really matter and your team's hurting with injuries and stuff. So energy is a big role in athletics. So Wahpeton has control of the game just by 1 point, 5 minutes remaining as both teams break their huddle. So Wahpeton will line up, it looks like, back into their 3-2 zone, as it will be Shanley's ball in front of their own bench. It'll be Smith bringing the ball up and setting up the offense for the Deacons of Shanley. Almost stolen there by Desiree. And it looks like it is going to be stolen by Tollefson as Hoffer is going up, not able to get the block in the 2-point basket before Wahpeton gets their lead back out 2-3. Nice pass there from DeKaiser, but before the pass, the official said he stepped out of bounds, resulting in a turnover to Wahpeton. You know, another nice play there by the Deacons. Couple nice plays by both teams. We'll have to see who can have the more nice plays, I should say.
Yeah, that's tough there as DeKaiser. He was kind of trying to respond after kind of losing the ball after tripping up, but unfortunately, he made a great play to get down low, but unfortunately, he just did step out a little bit.
Desiree guarded closely by Smith. Takes a 3-point attempt just short. And it'll clank off the rim and go out of bounds over to Shanley. Smith bringing the ball up the floor. Kicks it over to DeKaiser, guarded by Bartles, and Wahpeton's man-to-man as he throws it right into the hands of Desiree. Desiree over to Bartles. Looking for someone, finds Tollefson. Over to Cornelius as Shanley's bench is trying to create some energy in the quiet gym. Nice 2-point pull-up by Cornelius. Just an excellent play there by Cornelius, creating some space off the dribble and going up and finishing the 2-point basket. Smith over to Hoffer. Finds Bath down low. See if they can get Bath going in tonight's game, as the Kaiser now has the ball back up to Hoffer. Hoffer wants to do a little pullback of his own, but kicks over to the Kaiser for a 3-point attempt and gets nothing but net, cutting back into the deficit by 2 points.
It'll be interesting to see if the Kaiser can kind of build off that little momentum-y game there. As I was saying earlier, as he's my player to watch, he's one of those players who, once he gets going a little bit, he can really blow up and make a lot of big plays.
Absolutely. As he looks down low to find Bath as he's getting double-teamed. It looks like the official is going to get calling for a travel, as that's what Wahpeton bench wanted. So maybe a little bit of pressure by the bench got the referee to call for the travel. Shrema checking in for Bath, as well as Loosemore for Wahpeton. You know, one thing that surprised me, I'm not sure if it surprised you, as the Deacons have pretty much stayed with their man-on-man. It seems like they switch it up. Does that surprise you at all? Or do you think they just like their matchup in the man-to-man?
No, I think they like their matchup with the man-on-man because, I mean, both teams lately, there hasn't been too much scoring, and that just goes to show how good both these defenses are and how comfortable both coaches are with their defense. And I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. And, I mean, if they stay with it, maybe they'll continue to kind of contain both offenses, or the Wahpeton's offense, excuse me.
Absolutely, as the ball went off of Wahpeton. So it'll be Kenny throwing the ball in front of Wahpeton's bench. Shrema getting the screen before Smith decides not to take the open 3-point attempt and hands it off to Kenny. Nice pump fake by Smith, creates a little bit of space. Not able to get to floater to go, but the Minot State commit, Shrema, gets the rebound and puts the basket, which ties the game back at 23. Some energy by Shanley's faithful as well as the bench. See if they can get another stop here with just about 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Open 3-point attempt for Tollefson able to get it to go. What a response there for the Huskies.
Yeah, that's a huge answer there as energy. You can visibly see the energy really picking up for both the fans and the players.
Trying to create some more energy is Desiree of Wahpeton after the steal. As Loosemore puts up the 2-point floater, able to get it to go. Just like that, it's 5-point lead again for Wahpeton after it was just tied at 23.
This Wahpeton offense tonight, they've been doing an excellent job so far. They made a lot of great plays that were very athletic, as we kind of saw a little hook shot there by Loosemore. I mean, it's just plays like that that really give you that little extra edge of confidence.
DeKaiser with the response, 3-point basket, and Andy said it best. Once he gets going, he's hard to stop, so we'll have to see if Wahpeton can cool him down in the second half. Loosemore wants another three. Not able to get it to go, as it looks like Kenny got away with the foul for Shanley. But nevertheless, it will stay with Wahpeton. Mears bringing the ball. Check that. Checks into the game for the Deacons. Coach Ralph of Wahpeton also sending Cornelius to the scores table. Hoffer guarding Cornelius, who finds Tollefson. Trying to get baseline, gets baseline, but there will be a foul called on DeKaiser, which sends Tollefson to the line for 2 shots. So that foul will be on 15 DeKaiser, the Deacons, his first personal, as a first attempt hits the back of the rim and falls in. So the next foul on the Deacons will result in the Huskies to be in the bonus. Second attempt is perfect. Extends lead back out 2-4 for Shanley. Wahpeton. Mears with the ball in front of Wahpeton's bench. Huskies in that 3-2 zone. Smith into Hoffer. Tipped ball there. Looks like it is going to, the ref says it's going to stay with Shanley, as it looks like Desiree hit it out of bounds last. Smith drives right past Desiree, puts up the floater. It looks like it got blocked a little bit, but again, the Minot State commit Shrema gets the rebound and puts it back up. Now a 2-point deficit for Shanley. Bartles guarded by DeKaiser. Needs to find someone to pass to before he gets the 5-second violation and is able to find Tollefson. Matacek with just 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock gets Desiree to throw up a 3-point attempt. They're going to call that off of Mears, as from our angle, it looks like it went off of Cornelius. Would you agree, or do you think that was a good call by the official?
I think, to me, it kind of looked like it did go off Cornelius, but, I mean, not really much you could do about it at this point.
Again, the refs get paid to call what they see. As Tollefson, whoa, looks like he's not going to get the 2-point basket, as they're going to call a charge on Tollefson. Nice play there by DeKaiser, heating up on the offensive side and the defensive side. So there's 5 seconds left in the first half. See how the Deacons are able to handle it. Hoffer, 3-point attempt. Looks like it's going to be good and just long, as it goes right over the rim off the backboard. So Andy, back and forth game with Shanley getting out to a hot start, Wahpeton having a response of their own, and then Shanley having another response. What are your takeaways from the first half?
Well, for the first half, what I saw for Wahpeton on the offensive side is they're a team who's very athletic and can make very athletic plays, and they're able to get the ball in the hoop. And on the defensive side, they've just been playing unbelievable tonight. They've been closing passing lanes, causing turnovers. They've done a great job of shutting down Shanley's offense. And for Shanley on the offensive side, kind of vice versa of what I was saying about Wahpeton's defense. They just got to figure out exactly how to do this. I don't know, but they got to figure out how to get through that Wahpeton defense and get more passes and get more open shots and just cut down on the turnovers. That's what's really been killing Shanley. I think they could be in the lead right now if they'd cut down on some of the turnovers. And on the defensive side, I think they've been doing a pretty good job, but, I mean, it's just Wahpeton's offense. They are so good and so athletic. They've been able to get through Shanley's defense, and Shanley there's not a whole lot they could do.
Absolutely. We do have some stats for you at the end of the first half. Both your players to watch are the leading scorers for their respective team, as DeKaiser is 8 for Shanley, followed by Hoffer and Shrema with 5 points. And for Wahpeton, Looks like it is going to be Cornelius with 8 as well as Loosemore with 8, followed by Tollison with 7. So, folks, we're in store for a great second half of boys basketball on Shanley TV, so don't go far as we're just about 9 minutes away from second half of boys basketball.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Beyond Boundaries Therapy Services, Butler Machinery, Ed's Marine, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Hurley's Religious Goods, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Network Center, Northern Improvement, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford, Shields, Taxman, TCI Insurance, and Wolf Steel Construction.
So, folks, as we welcome you back to boys basketball on Shanley TV, we would like to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member today if you're not one already. It is easy to become a member, and anyone can join. So sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. So, Andy, as we welcome back the viewers for the second half of boys basketball, what does each team need to do to be successful to win this game?
Well, for Wahpeton, I don't think they need to change a whole lot. They've been very sound on both offense and defense. They've been making athletic, strong plays on offense. They've been closing up passing lanes, stopping shots on defense. So I don't think they need to change a whole lot. Obviously, keep up the energy, as I always say. But for Shanley, offensively, what they really need to work on is making kind of smarter passes, having better ball security, and, I mean, not just getting too over-ambitious, because they've had a lot of turnovers and they've had a lot of passes blocked, passes stolen, so they really need to work on the offensive side of the ball to really be successful in this half of the game.
So we're just about to start the second half of boys basketball, and it'll be Wahpeton's ball with Cornelius bringing the ball up the floor for the Huskies. So it looks like the shot clock didn't start, so we're going to have an early stoppage of play as one of the officials heads over to the scorer's table to see if they can figure that out. So, Andy, we do not have a update from the girls' game down in Wahpeton, but a little surprising update in boys EDC basketball play in Fargo as Davies is trailing Fargo North by 11 at halftime. What are your takeaways and thoughts about that?
Well, Davies, I see them as not just a basketball team, but as a school kind of overall. With this competition between Shanley and Davies, I've kind of noticed that they're a school that has a lot of fighting spirit in them, and they don't just usually let bad things happen and just say that's the way it is. What they usually do is they'll respond and they'll try their best to kind of get out of that deficit. And Davies, they've kind of struggled these last couple games, but they've just had they've had a strong sense of excellence in all their sports programs these last couple years. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to kind of come back and get things moving in the right direction going forward in the season.
Yeah, you got to think they're going to bounce back after a hot start, beating Shanley by 50 points and having a couple college athletes, especially Grayson Hammond, committed to North Dakota State for basketball. So kind of a surprise they've lost a few, but definitely going to get back on the winning trail pretty soon. As Cornelius hits another three for Wahpeton. Now 11 points in the game. DeKaiser over to Hoffer. Gets it down low to Shrema from Smith. Goes up, misses everything as Cornelius comes down with the board. Gets it over to Desiree. Tipped pass there, looks like, so will not be an over and back as Desiree kicks it over to Cornelius. Up top to Cornelius, deep three, not able to get it to go, but Desiree with the board. So I believe that foul will be on number 2, Quincy Smith, as they call him for a push on Desiree. So it'll be second personal first team foul. Did it surprise you in the first half that no team was in the bonus? Because I believe Shanley had 6 personal fouls and Wahpeton had 5. Did that surprise you at all?
I was a little surprised by that because, kind of like you said earlier, covering Shanley games, we've seen a lot of games where going into the end of the first half, we've even seen teams in the double bonus. And I mean, not to say Shanley's a dirty team or anything, but they've been aggressive in a lot of ways on both sides of the ball. And I mean, they've been a team that's drawn up a lot of fouls. So I was kind of surprised to see neither team in the bonus in the first half.
Yeah, me too. So we'll have to see if in the second half that's a little bit different tale. But both coaches definitely don't want it to be. They want their teams to stay out of the bonus, or the other teams to stay out of the bonus. So it'll be Wahpeton ball after a nice no-look pass from Hoffer that Bath is not able to corral. 3-point basket for Tollefson, rattles around and extends the lead out to 8 for Wahpeton early in the second half.
And kind of going back to the bonus thing, both teams, they've been very successful from the free throw line tonight. So, I mean, you really don't want to put neither team in the bonus with their free throw percentage being so high tonight.
So that ball just goes out of bounds off of Wahpeton, so it will stay with Shanley. Not able to get it to go as Desiree comes down with the board. pushes the pace a little bit here for the Huskies. Cornelius down to Bartles, quick pass to Matacek. Looks like Shrema got away with the foul, but the Deacons do come away with the ball as Hoffer sets up the offense for Shanley. Hoffer calling out a play, tipped pass there off of Tollefson, but it will stay with Shanley. So 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock as Hoffer looks to find DeKaiser, but throws it right out of bounds. Looking for Smith, but not able to get it to go as that was kind of just sailed. It will be a turnover to Wahpeton. You know, Deacons just being a little careless with the ball. Not something we see too often from Shanley.
Yeah, usually Shanley, they do a great job of moving the ball around in an efficient manner and also doing it in a safe manner. So it's a big surprise tonight to see them kind of just throwing the ball around and making a lot of mistakes.
As Lyer checks into Hoffer, maybe get a little bit of a mental reset after a couple turnovers for Mr. Hoffer. Tollefson, stripped ball there by Lyer and DeKaiser, but the official will say it will stay with the Huskies with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Cornelius with the ball in front of his own bench. 5 seconds left, puts up 2-point basket. Able to get it to go as it hits the back of the rim. Almost hits the antenna, but doesn't and falls in. Nice pass there by Smith. Finds an open Bath, goes up for the dunk, and throws it down. What a play by Bath.
Not just a big play by Bath, but that could be huge for the rest of the team as that can kind of drum up a little more momentum and energy.
And a nice response by Bartles on the other side. Extends the lead to 10 for Wahpeton. And Coach Paper and Shanley wants a timeout. You know, what are your thoughts about this first 5 minutes, 4 minutes by Wahpeton? Really came out in the second half and punched Shanley in the face.
Yeah, I mean, Wahpeton, they've been playing really hard the whole game, but yeah, especially this half, they kind of came out, and just as we saw there with Patrick Bath's dunk, Wahpeton responded right away, and they've done a great job of doing that, not just in this half, but in the whole game so far, as they haven't really let Shanley go on very many runs and kind of gain that momentum and that upper edge over Wahpeton.
So after a 30-second timeout from Coach Paper, it will be Wahpeton's ball, Shanley's ball in front of the scores table after that basket from Bartles. So checking back into the game for the Huskies will be Kobe Timian replacing Matacek. 3-2 zone for Wahpeton. Bath almost puts it out of bounds and almost turns it over again, but Lyer able to come down and gets the foul called, which will send him to the line for 2 shots. Looks like they're actually going to call that on the floor. I thought it was on the shot. Did you?
Yeah, it looked like Jackson Lyer was shooting during that foul, but I guess they will call on the floor.
Pass inside to Schramm. It gets double teamed immediately. Had an open Lyer on the far side, but puts up the 2-point basket, which is long, and falls into the hands of Desiree. Overdue Cornelius finds an open Timian and gets it right into Bartles. Long 2 by Timian, able to get it to go and is perfect. Extends the lead out to 12 for Wahpeton, the biggest lead of the game. Hoffer ready to check in at the next dead ball. DeKaiser over to Smith. Gets Desiree in the air a little bit, and it will be a foul on Desiree. So it will be the second team foul of Wahpeton. Oh, but only the first personal on Desiree. Desiree going to the bench after that second foul, which brings Hansen into the game. Smith setting up the Deacon offense. Nice shake and bake. Just leaves the floater short, but Bath able to come down with the board and put it up in to the hoop for 2 points. You know, I always go back to Patrick Bath. A lot of people expected him to get some varsity minutes, but did you expect him to get this many and to have such a big role on Shanley as a freshman?
Not at all. I mean, I was really surprised when we first saw him come out, and he had a huge game, not just on offense, but on defense as well. And kind of like we've touched on earlier this season, having both Bath and Roman Shrema is huge for the Deacons as they have two players who are both very versatile and able to make plays on both sides of the ball.
As Cornelius hit another three on Wahpeton's offensive end, Shanley is able to control the ball after tipped out of bounds off of Wahpeton. Lyer looking for a screen from Bath. Takes a long two, it looks like. Not able to get it to go, but DeKaiser able to get up over Timian and put in the rebound. You know, so far, Wahpeton not able to stop the hot DeKaiser, who's now up to 10 points in the evening. Long two from Tollefson, made a couple out there, and makes another one as he puts up the three-point signal. Again, the biggest lead of the game for Wahpeton, stretched out to 14 points. Smith, pump fake, takes a step back three and drains it in the corner as his family to the right of Andy and myself cheering their family member on.
And I know I've said this before, but Quincy Smith, he's a player who outside the arc, once he gets going, kind of like DeKaiser and Hoffer, a common theme among this Shanley team is once he gets going outside the arc, he is unstoppable, and he'll just hit threes like it's no one's business.
Yeah, he went off, I believe, 21 and 24 in the first game for Shanley this year. Been a little bit quiet since. Past couple games kind of found that rhythm again as Tollefson has sent to the line for 3 shots after the foul on the three-point attempt by Lyer. So each team with 2 fouls, not a lot, saying we're about 7 minutes into the second half. Second one is also good. So Matacek and Mears checking back into the game.
For the Huskies, number 42, Blake Matacek.
And is able to convert all 3, which extends lead back out to 14 for Wahpeton. And, you know, you definitely think that Shanley can overcome this deficit, especially with the Timberwolves. What was that deficit last night that they gave up to the Kings?
I believe it was a 24-point deficit or 24-point lead that they eventually did blow in Minnesota fashion.
In Minnesota fashion, you know, big Timberwolves fan myself. Can't say so for you. Are you a Timberwolves fan?
I mean, I don't follow the NBA too much, but I do enjoy checking the scores of the Timberwolves as they do usually lose by about 20. But
yeah, having a rough year so far, so we'll see if the Deacons are able to come back like the Kings did against the Timberwolves last night. Matacek working on Bath. Bath able to get it with his knee, it looked like, as the Deacons look to push the pace. Lyer, 2-point floater, not good. And the rebound comes down by Matacek, bringing that strongly down with one arm. Hansen with the ball, finds Tollefson, who looks like he just tripped on his own feet again. And it will be a turnover to Shanley. Nice pass from Lyer to Mears to Hoffer for a 3-point attempt, but not able to get it to go. And your player to watch again, Brandon Kaiser, with another 2-point basket. Gives him 12 points in the game.
It seems whenever I mention DeKaiser's name before the game, he'll just go off.
It's been a couple games now that he's been your player to watch, and he's at over 15 points. So Deacons definitely relying on the hot hand in DeKaiser right now if they want to get back into the game. Matacek going to work again on Bath, who gets double-teamed with Hoffer. And Cornelius not able to get this 3-point attempt to go. Deacons looking back to cut into the deficit even more. DeKaiser just leaves that one short, as Bath, though, is able to get the rebound and put it back up as Wahpeton, went on their own run, and now Deacons responding just like we saw in the first half. And boy, there's a lot of energy in this gym right now.
Yeah, I don't say it for no reason or just to hear myself talk. Energy is a giant part of this game, and especially with Shanley. As I've said about 3 players, once they get rolling, they're rolling. And I mean, it's just like that for their whole team, where once they get that little bit of energy, they'll just blow up and make huge plays.
Nice pass from Lyer. Nice spin move by Hoffer, and able to get the 2-point basket to go. And you can't draw it up any better than that. That's just beautiful basketball. So Hoffer guarding Hansen. That is only a 6-point lead after stretched out to 14 by Wahpeton. So it looks like the official underneath the hoop's going to get Patrick Bath on a personal foul as he was guarding Matacek just a little too closely. Only the first personal though on Bath, but 3rd team foul on Shanley. So it'll be Cornelius throwing the ball in for the Huskies underneath their hoop. DeKaiser passes over to Matacek, who gets met there by a tall Shrema. Deacon faithful trying to encourage their team to get yet another stop and cut into this deficit a little bit more. As we have a foul, looks like they're going to call an arm bar on 15 DeKaiser of Shanley. So the foul's slowly starting to add up for Shanley here, as that's their fourth team foul, just about 9 minutes remaining. Nice fake handoff there. But the ball is stolen by Lyer as Shrema gets the foul called on Bartles.
Balls on Wahpeton, number 30, Jared Bartles. His first personal, 13 foul.
So third team foul on Wahpeton, but only the first personal on Jared Bartles. So Wahpeton going back to that 3-2 zone. Lyer, open three, looks a little bit off, and it is off as Wahpeton comes down with the board. Silences Shanley as they were on, what was that, about a 7-point run in the past minute and a half. It'll be Bartles guarded by DeKaiser. Kicks it over to Tollefson. Made a couple three-pointers, but on that side, tries to get a nice pass, but defended nicely by Shrema. Mears in the corner, not known for his offensive abilities as much as his defense abilities, but able to find Hoffer in the corner. Kicks it back out to Mears. Excellent passing from Shanley as DeKaiser gets his guy off the floor, puts up the 2-point shot. Not able to get it to go, but is sent to the line. So on the replay here, we see a nice jab step by DeKaiser, able to go up and get the foul called on Bartles, which will be a second personal foul. First attempt is good for DeKaiser. DeKaiser, second attempt, no good, but the rebound comes down to Mears. Finds an open Hoffer, steps into the three-point attempt, and just short. So they are going to get the foul called on Shrema. So the ball will be turned over to Wahpeton. Second personal foul on Shrema. Wahpeton's just 2 fouls away from being sent to the line for bonus. So once again, it looks like the shot clock started late. So they're going to have to take a few more ticks off of that before we can get back underway. Still trying to get that shot clock in there. They got it back down to 25 seconds. Desiree guarded closely by Lyer. Out to Cornelius. Wahpeton's go-to guy in a situation like this. Cornelius with the three-point attempt, just long. And another foul on Shrema as they're going to call him for a push as DeKaiser and Shrema question that. I believe that was the right call as Shrema kind of pushed his defender out of the way to go up and get that board. Third personal on Shrema. So the next foul on Shanley will result in Wahpeton going to the free throw line for the bonus early. So complete opposite in the first half. You think that's going to have an impact on the game later?
I think it will have an impact on the game later as Shanley has cut this lead down to just 5. Those extra little free throws could be huge in giving Wahpeton a little more of a lead.
So Wahpeton has a foul of their own, which they're just now 2 fouls away from sending Shanley to the line for the bonus, as that is the 3rd straight foul on Bartles of Wahpeton. So Deacons trying to find passing lanes in this tight 3-2 zone of the Huskies. DeKaiser looks like he's going to drive inside, finds a cutting Lyer, throws up the 2-point floater, not able to get it to go. And again, your player to watch, Braden DeKaiser, and boy, is he having a game.
Yeah, it's almost like I predicted that. Not a big deal.
You predict a lot of things these days now, I'm realizing, Andy Simon. You are good at that. I might have to pay you one day to predict what my future is.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like Tony Romo in the CBS booth tonight.
Nice analogy there by Andy Simon as Tollefson is able to get a 3-point basket to go. When it's Cornelius not able to get in the 3-point to go, they're relying on Tollefson as Wahpeton calls a 30-second time out. You know, really sad past couple days in sports world as Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi passed away, as well as those other victims on the plane crash. Just want to send our condolences to their families, as it's been a tough time. As you know, I looked up to him as a kid growing up, you know, having that mama mentality, that desire to always get better. And it's really tough to see when that news broke. It really hurt my heart.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst strategies we've seen in these last couple of years. I mean, like you said, Kobe, he was just a giant player, and not just the game of basketball, but in sports in general. I mean, everyone really knew his name, and like you said, that Mamba mentality spread across the entire sports world, and he just made a huge impact on pretty much every basketball player in the world today. And there's probably not a single NBA player you could talk to that wouldn't say that Kobe had a big impact on their lives. So it's just terrible, and especially with the future that Gigi could have had, it's truly heartbreaking, as you said, to see both of them pass away like that.
So it'll be Mears driving baseline, bounce pass. Looks like it was going to go to Shrema, but Hoffer picks it up and gets a 2-point basket of his own, cutting the deficit 2-4. Lowest deficit, as they are going to call Desiree for a double dribble. It looks like he just caught it on his waist a little too long, so it'll be Deacons basketball underneath their own hoop. Hoffer throwing the ball and finds Shrema, as I believe that was the right call by the official, as Shrema hit that last, but it's going to be a questioning now by the other official, and they are going to change that over to Matacek. I believe from our angle it could have gone off of either guy, but great officiating there as they get together and decide that it is going to stay with Shanley. And that's what you like to see. Both officials decide to come together and get the call right. Mears with another three-point attempt out there, but able to get this one to go, and now the lead for Wahpeton is just 1 point. So 6 minutes remaining from Shanley High School as Wahpeton has a 1-point lead over Shanley. Cornelius finds an open Tollefson. Ben, the guy that has answered Shanley's run, see if he can get another three for the Huskies. Cornelius takes a three-point attempt. Tough shot, but able to get his rebound. Kicks it out to Tollefson. Goes out. A tall Shrema somehow able to get that to go. Not sure how that stayed in the hoop, but will result in 2 points for the Huskies. Laya over to Hoffer. Over to DeKaiser, who has had the hot hand this evening. Mir drives, puts up the 2-point floater off the glass, and able to get it to go. I believe that's his 5th point of tonight's matchup. So again, just a 1-point deficit for Shanley. A lot of energy in this gym. I feel like we've been talking about that every other sentence. As again, another 3-point made basket by Desiree and Wahpeton. Hoffer down low to Schramer, going to work on Matchek. Doesn't have much, but somehow able to get that to go as that kind of just stuck on the back of the rim like a brick and falls into the hoop. Lyer guarding the ball closely as Matacek now has it in front of his own coach, Jeff Ralph. Over to Bartos, so that's been his bread and butter. That long 2-point shot, but a nice move by Matacek, who hasn't been getting his name called too much, but able to get the 2-point basket to go. Lead back out to 4 for Wahpeton. Hoffer over to Lyer. Lyer back to Hoffer, almost puts it out of bounds, just able to keep control of the ball. So again, Schraman doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and a nice steal there by Desiree. As Mears almost gets it stolen back, but Wahpeton able to maintain possession. So at the next dead ball, it will be Patrick Bath checking back into the game for Shanley. Down to Matacek. Out to Bartle, swings over to Desiree. Guarded closely by Hoffer. Just 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Not a lot of opportunities for Wahpeton, but it doesn't matter as they're going to get Wahpeton with the travel call. So we'll turn over back to the Deacons. You know, right now on this Deacons run, it's really hurting Wahpeton is their unforced turnovers. How critical is that in a game like this with about 4 minutes remaining?
I mean, I've touched on it a million times before. Turnovers are a huge part of this game, and if Wahpeton can get even more of these turnovers and stop this little run that Shanley's going on, that could be the end of the game.
And now Wahpeton's faithful trying to get a little energy for their team. to maybe stop this scoring run by Shanley. Looks like they're going to be able to do so after the Liars' missed shot comes down to Matacek. Tollefson, guarded by Liar, kicks it over to Matacek, who had an open Bartles but decided not to take it after a missed shot attempt from Desiree. It's Liar trying to drive, kicks it over to Mears, has a cutting Hoffer, finds Bath. Bath going up for another dunk attempt, gets the basket lay-in, and will be sent to the line to convert the 3-point play. Now, Andy, the real question is, personally, do you consider that a dunk or just a lay-in?
To me, that looked a little more like a lay-in. It didn't seem that he got his hands all the way around the rim, and he also was fouled on that play, and it looked like he just kind of laid it in, as we were just saying.
I would agree. If you're going to talk to Bath after the game, he's going to say he dunked that, but from up here, it looked like he laid that in, as the lead is just 1 for Wahpeton after Bath converts the 3-point play. So Desiree kicks it over to Tollefson, over to Bartles. Cornelius now with the ball, guarded closely by Mears. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock as Desiree puts up a 2-point floater and not able to get it to go, but somehow able to come down with the rebound. But the Deacons gain control of the ball. So Hoffer slow to get up for the Deacons. Looks like he's all right, though, as he runs back in to the offensive end. Smith hands it off to Mears, finds an open lane, puts up the attempt, and will be sent to the line for 2 shots. On the replay, we see just an open up for Mears, and able to get the foul by Tollefson, which will send Mears to the line for 2. So for the remainder of this game, both teams will be in the bonus. Mears rattles it in. Now it's a tie game, 61, with just over 2 minutes remaining. Now, first lead of the second half for Shanley with just over 2 minutes. What did Shanley do? Down by 14 at one point to get back into the game.
I'm sure you can guess what I'm about to say. I mean, they just got the energy. They got that momentum. They got that little bit of swagger as they were making great plays, and that's all they really need. That's all they really needed to get back in this game. Is they were making plays left and right. They were getting and ones. They were making free throws. I mean, they were really doing everything you could really ask.
Yeah, and folks, as we have a minute, we would like to mention that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathleticClub.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you are not one already. It's easy to become a member, and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. So with just over 2 minutes remaining in tonight's contest, the Deacons finally have their first lead of the second half, being 62-61. So both teams breaking the full timeout huddle, and it will be Wahpeton ball underneath Shanley's hoop. And if you're Shanley, personally, I guess, I should ask you personally, if you're Shanley, are you sticking with the man-on-man, or are you going to switch to a zone? What would you do?
I mean, we've kind of seen them with a little bit of zone in this second half, and it's kind of opened up a lot more shooting lanes for Wahpeton. And Wahpeton, they've been great on the offensive side. So if I'm coaching, I'm putting them in man-to-man, just kind of try to give that little extra aggressiveness and, you know, that little extra push to make a better play on defense.
And your theory of man-on-man worked there, as Shanley is able to extend the lead with a made basket on this possession. So Bath swings it over to Smith. Now gets the screen from Bath and kicks it over to Hoffer to set up the Shanley offense with 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Hoffer looks like he got fouled there, and they are going to call that as time expires on the shot clock. So he will be sent to the line for 2 shots. And on the replay, we see that it looks like, yep, Bartles just got Hoffer on the arm. So it'll be the 4th personal foul on Bartles, 8th team foul on Wahpeton. First attempt rattles around and falls in for Hoffer. You know, Deacon's doing an excellent job from the free throw line tonight. Not common, we see that in previous years, but definitely giving them the upper edge in tonight's matchup as Hoffer goes 2 for 2 from the line. Assistant coach Ash of Deacon trying to encourage his bench. Get a little energy going. Quick pass there into Bartles from Cornelius as that ball is stolen by Mears. Mears has Bath but decides to slow it down, which is a smart play as they want to get a good look with just about a minute remaining. So Hoffer picked up his dribble, looks to find someone. We do have a stoppage in play as there is a foul called on Wahpeton. So whoever that was on, it looks like it is going to be DeKaiser, will be sent to the line for the 1-and-1. And not worrying about foul trouble much in the first half. We do have to worry now is that is the 5th personal on Jared Bartles. So DeKaiser able to push this out to 5-point lead if he's able to convert on both attempts. First attempt is good. To complete the pair is DeKaiser. So 5-point lead now for Shanley with just under a minute remaining in the matchup. Matacek over to Cornelius, guarded closely by Mears. Over to an open Tollefson. 3-point attempt is good. Mr. Clutch this evening for Wahpeton is Tollefson as Huskies take their final time out. So if you're the Deacons and Coach Tony Paper, are you going to get a quick shot up so Wahpeton has to shoot and maybe get a 2-for-1? Or are you going to let the shot clock lower as much as needed to get a good look?
If I'm the coach, I'm going to try and get my team to lower the clock as much as possible and maybe throw up a little 2-pointer if you can get it, but it's kind of a tough situation here as 45 seconds. That's still a lot of time left for Wahpeton to score, and the Deacons only being up 2. It'll be interesting to see what Shanley does to kind of try to contain this dangerous Wahpeton offense.
Absolutely, as we do have a full time out. So it is Deacons 66, Wahpeton 64, 45 seconds remaining as we do have a little break. Don't forget that you can connect with Shanley TV on social media. Get the latest updates about Shanley sports teams, plus reminders about upcoming broadcasts like our Facebook page today at facebook.com/Shanley TV, or follow us on Twitter at Shanley TV. So as both teams are just about to break the timeout huddle, we're in store for a great last 45 seconds of basketball. As it looked for a while that Wahpeton was going to pull away with this, but Shanley able to fight their way back and now have a lead of their own with 2. So we do have a couple former Shanley basketball players in the house tonight. And Braden Bars and Isaac Clavis showing their support, who played last year for Shanley. Very nice of them to stop by and cheer on their former teammates. Nice pass. Lyer has an open Bath, but gets fouled before, which will send him to the line, which now will be the double bonus, so he'll have 2 shots. So we do have another shout out tonight, and yet again it is my mom, Connie Altringer, and Andy. She did mention that. She did like that analogy of Tony Romo and yourself. So thanks, Mom, for tuning in. First attempt from Lyer is good. It's more senior leadership by Lyer. So it looks like Mears checked in for Shanley, sends Quincy Smith to the bench. So that's just a defensive sub there, as I'm guessing at the next dead ball, Smith will check in. Interesting now as Lyer misses the second attempt. So 3-point difference separates Wahpeton and Shanley. Shanley fans telling their team to guard the 3-point line and not to foul as there's 25 seconds remaining in the contest. Good defense by Shanley as Wahpeton hasn't had a good look yet with Desiree driving on Hoffer. Puts up a 3-point attempt, not able to get it to go with the rebound coming down to DeKaiser, who throws it in to Hoffer. Coach Ralph is not happy with Wahpeton not fouling, as a questionable foul called there by Wahpeton. So he kind of got the arm of Hoffer. Looks like they're just going to keep that a personal foul and not a flagrant. So Hoffer will be sent to the line for 2 shots. First attempt is good. And boy, is Talon Hoffer clutch in these late game situations. Second attempt is also good. Extends the lead back out to 5. So Shanley calls a timeout. Coach Paper wants to set up their defense and put his final words in before we witness the last 6 seconds of boys basketball on Shanley TV. So on the replay, we see a nice outlet pass from Lyer. Nice spin move by Hoffer and puts up the 2-point basket. So it looks like it is going to be a full timeout as we have a technical foul, it looks like, called on Wahpeton. Or excuse me, that's just going to be a timeout call, I believe. Not sure what that was, as he did make a signal of a T kind of late after a whistle. Not really sure what happened there. Any idea?
I couldn't tell you.
I think it was just a timeout, but it was very interesting how late that was called. That was probably about halfway through the timeout, so we'll have to see if anything comes of that.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of that controversial technical call might have been was that little foul on Hoffer a couple.
I think they called it on one of the coaches, so it was a technical foul, not just a timeout call. So Hoffer sent to the line for the Deacons to extend this lead, pretty much put this game away for Shanley. And if you're Wahpeton, that's exactly what you don't want. Pretty much the opposite as Hoffer misses the second attempt, but the ball will go back to Shanley. You figure that they'll just be able to dribble it out. So Wahpeton not fouling, and Shanley going to win this game by 6 points after being down by 14. Well, Andy, we had a back-and-forth matchup all night as biggest lead for Wahpeton was once 14, cut down to about 7, and then Shanley did not look back as they pushed out the lead to 6. What are your takeaways for each team?
Well, I think all Shanley really did to win this game was, like we said a million times just in this game, is they got the energy and they got the momentum and they got the ability to make plays, and they just got in that mindset, and they were able to make great athletic plays on both sides of the ball. They were able to make good shots, get good layups, and make turnovers and get the ball back. But on Wahpeton's side, I didn't think there's a whole lot they did wrong. I think it just more Shanley did everything right, and not that that Wahpeton did everything wrong.
So before we leave, we do have some final totals for you for points. As your player to watch, DeKaiser leads Shanley with 17, followed by Bath with 15 and Hoffer with 14. On the other side for Wahpeton, Tyler Tollefson steps up big for Wahpeton with 24 points, followed by Cornelius with 16, and Bartles and Loosemore with 8 apiece. And so before we do say goodbye, we do have a ending game in the girls matchup between Wahpeton and Deacons. We do not have a final score, but we do know that Shanley beat Wahpeton down in the girls matchup. And so it is again 70 for the Deacons and 64 for Wahpeton. Again, I am Brayden Altringer, joined alongside my partner Andy Simon, and for our entire crew, we thank you for watching. Tonight's presentation has been a proceeding of Shanley TV.